Hello everybody, this is Jay Glazer bringing you another Facebook Live update on this wonderful, extremely balmy August Friday afternoon. So, like to kick things off in my traditional fashion with a have, a need, and a know. So what do we have? I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to tell you what we have right now, some great rental inventory, which I don't often speak about. If you are in the rental market right now, tenants, it is a great opportunity for you to find some amazing property. I myself have some incredible rentals on the market that we're offering up really for a discount because we're taking in and considering the fact that the rental market is slow. And if you're looking for something, there are great opportunities. So check out our page. I'm not going to go into specific properties, but I'll tell you we have 4 or 5 great rentals on the market right now throughout the downtown marketplace, and you should really check them out. And interested, reach out and we'll happily get you in. What do we need? Folks, we need some great sub $2 million 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartments. That is a very trendy market right now. There are a lot of people looking for their first homes or their second home, young family homes, things of that nature. If you have something that you think is a valuable property under $2 million in certain neighborhoods, downtown specifically, or if you have a great, say, junior 4, 1-bedroom under $1 million, that kind of flexible marketplace, that's what we really need right now. And then what do we know? What we know is it's hot and it's August and not many people are in town. So I've been spending a lot of time thinking about this word, seasonality. So what do we know? We know that it is the dog days of summer, as they say, and we want to understand better what exactly seasonality is. So I embarked on a short little adventure this week, an email adventure, you might say, and I reached out to Noah Rosenblatt of Urban Digs. I'm going to drop his website into the comments section. He is a data miner, essentially a data analyst. He loves geeking out on New York City real estate data, and he has a website, urbandigs.com, which is really the definitive source for me to understand micro and macro conditions in the marketplace. And I have a personal relationship with Noah, so anytime I want to understand something, I usually just reach out to him and get his opinion and feedback on a specific topic, this week's topic being seasonality. So we spoke, and I'm going to steal some of his comments, and he gave me his permission to do so, and I'm going to share them with you. So for starters, Noah brought up a really good general position on seasonality, which is to say New York City real estate is far more macro influenced by greater global and equity-driven influences. So for example, the most obvious example, but a good example nevertheless, the collapse of 2009. In 2009, there were very few apartment trades in the city, period. So seasonality really didn't exist in 2009 because by all accounts, the entire New York City market was dead. So there really wasn't a distinction between, say, a January or a June and an August, or an August and a November. We were flat unilaterally across the board. So micro and macro conditions in the global economy have a far greater influence than the specific seasonality of an apartment sale. And then, rather than call it seasonality, rather than say it's necessarily a better time or a worse time to sell, or it's better to sell in the summer or it's worse to sell in the summer, really what we want to talk about is just to see sort of when there are specific trends in the marketplace for things like days on markets, contracts signed, and whatnot. So specifically, you do see a small tick up in inventory to start off the year. So I'm going to go calendar to calendar year, so January to January. You see a small tick up in January, and that's to be expected. You know, people are getting back from their winter vacations, kids are back in school, and you see a small tick up in inventory. And then we see the healthiest rise in contracts signed, so not just inventory, but in terms of product being moved, apartments being sold, we see that rise March through June. And then in early June, trending towards July, and then ultimately in August, where we are now, you see the days on market escalate. So that doesn't mean we are in a marketplace that doesn't move. So I interpret seasonality often being as, this is the dead zone, you shouldn't list here. It just means that towards July, and the months we're in now, August, you do see a days on market increase. And then lastly, you actually see a continued slowdown of movement. So again, it makes sense that if it's taking longer to sell, you're probably signing less deals. So there's a slowdown in terms of signed contracts in August. And then once Labor Day hits and once we move into the fall season, you see that slow rise again in activity and inventory. But none of these are such great conditions that it necessarily begets you should or shouldn't list your home. So, I mean, if you absolutely had to have your apartment sold when you wanted to, meaning you had complete control over the timing of things, then you might say, okay, I'm going to list this thing somewhere between, say, September 20th and October 20th, or May 1st through, June 1st, or April 1st through June 1st. Those would be your ideal times. But in reality, what you see is not seasonality per se, just trends in the marketplace that indicate to you you need to spend a little bit more time thinking about the strategy you're employing. So where I want to leave it with you, my friends, is less about, oh, we shouldn't list during the summer. Listen, I'm in the office, it's 1 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, August 4th. All my colleagues are probably at their vacation homes and whatnot, but we're working. So seasonality is only seasonality if you want it to be seasonality. We're here, we're working, we're ready to get your home sold, we're working with our buyers, we're having meetings, etc. So, ultimately, the bottom line is when it's seasonal, i.e., August, dog days, you just have to spend a little more time understanding the micro and macro trends of both the submarket of your apartment. Is it a co-op? Is it a condo? Is it a 2-bedroom? Is it a 3-bedroom? And then the submarket of the location. Where is it located? If this is a harder neighborhood to sell in historically, maybe you do push a couple weeks, because in addition to the slowdown of potential buyers in August and you're already in a naturally slow neighborhood, maybe you really need to cheat as best as you can and ultimately push towards that neighborhood, or push towards that later date, I mean to say. So, let me know. I'm curious if you out there in Facebook land agree with my assessment. Do you think that the market is seasonal? If you're in a different marketplace, if you're an owner and you have a second home, are you in a second home market? I would love to hear from you as to what those second home markets do during the summer. Are you only selling during the summer? If you're in a ski resort, are you only selling during the winter when people can jet down the slopes? I know I would probably buy something if I could get down the slopes quickly. So I would love to hear from you and hear what your experiences are during the summer. If it is the summer and you say, hey, I'm never going to sell my home during the summer, so seasonality is a thing for me, I'd love to hear those comments. Drop them into my comment section. I'd love to engage with you and hear your thoughts. Or if you just want to say hey, drop a comment of hey into the comment section as well. So that's my Facebook Live. Thank you for joining me. I will get back with you hopefully next week from Vegas. Very exciting week ahead. We're away on a business trip, Peter and I, and we will drop you a line from our experience there. Have a great one.